doing? I am back with one of my last videos, I think. I don't know. I'm considering it. I have finished the LPC, finally, pretty much. I only have a presentation next week, but for all intents and purposes, I am finished. And I wanted to review the LPC in a creative and interesting way. So this is going to be a two-part video. In this video, I'm going to be looking at and recapping stage 1 of the LPC. In the next video, I will be recapping stage 2 of the LPC. I'm doing a tier list, and I was trying to think of a clever way of labeling my categories. I couldn't think of anything, and my mind for some reason just snapped onto the Nando's Periometer. It's that. Don't ask me why, we're rolling with it. So we're gonna start with business law and practice. I would say I am going to be glancing down a lot because I haven't memorized this. It's written down in my notes. So business, I said, and obviously this comes down to who you have as a teacher, but for me, I would say the teaching for business was probably the best teaching that I had. Across the board for stage 1, the teaching was really good, and I think that my tutor had a very good system teaching us to make sure that everyone was on the same page. We had a OneDrive document where we would do all of our tasks as a class together on that one document. So that meant that when it came to the exam, we were all set up with at least a baseline of information, baseline of all the prep tasks and workshop tasks that we'd done together, that he had checked through and worked through with us. I thought that that was really good, and I didn't have that in any other class, and I do think that it put us all in the class on equal footing. Whether or not we took those notes and then went home and added to them, bolstered them a little bit, that was completely up to us, but the information that we'd had in that class and that was approved by our tutor was enough for the exam, essentially. So I think the teaching for that reason was great. The reading was intense, giving me a very general baseline understanding, which widens my worldview and world understanding. I appreciate that very much, and I think that that was one of the modules that was very mind expanding. I felt very challenged. I think my understanding of the world grew a lot as well. I'm gonna put it on medium. So that's business. Next we can go to dispute resolution, which I said in my notes. Dispute resolution to me was a false friend. It was like criminal law undergrad. Interesting content, seeing how the litigation side works, seeing how you communicate, learning about the rules. I say false friend because it should be easy. It should be. I say it should be easy because it's all dictated by rules that are written down. It's pretty meticulous. I feel like once you've got the understanding of the deadlines, the dates, and the processes, you've pretty much got it. If you can't wrap your head around it, because there are dates to remember, there are timings to remember, timings change in accordance to it's all like a chain, and the chain can look a certain way if you follow A processes, but if in the middle of the processes you hit a B process, then the timelines change and then you have to adapt and go with the new rules, and it doesn't happen all the time, but that's kind of a reason why I say it's a false friend. And learning about the technicalities, the forms that you have to fill out, how to write particulars of claim, stuff like that was tough. I actually put dispute resolution on the spicy tier. It was spicy. My tutor was really good. She was very sweet, and she was very helpful. Next one, real estate. And real estate was another good topic. I think I'll put it in line with business in the sense that it widened my worldview, my understanding of property and how the processes it takes to buy, to rent, to buy, to lease, the searches you have to undertake, all of the frameworks that are in place for going about acquiring property and stuff like that. Super interesting stuff. Very real I mean, all of them are real life application and practical application, but I feel like real estate for me is the one that stretches the furthest in terms of broadening my worldview and my knowledge of how the world works around me. Obviously business did that, dispute does that, but in the legal, more so confined to the legal world. I think that's fair to say. Yeah, we'll say it's fair to say. But business and real estate are the ones that, like, they stretch beyond the law. Like, if tomorrow I woke up, God forbid, after all this time, and I say I don't want to be a lawyer anymore, I'm out of here, then the skills and the stuff I learned in business and real estate, I feel, are the ones that will stick with me, will be applicable in areas of my life way beyond a legal career, just in terms of understanding how things work. So all that to say, the real estate module was good. I really enjoyed it. Real estate was difficult because it was one of those ones where it's a slow burner. You start, I remember starting, did not know what was going on. I genuinely had no idea what was going on. And I would like turn up to I never missed a seminar, workshop, never missed one. And I remember very vividly going into a workshop and having no idea what was going on. And it was if you go to do the LPC at ULaw and you have workshop 4 and 5, I think, which is where you do the searches, and you do all the searches. That one threw me. I was stuck. I remember being in that class and being like, I've got no idea what's going on. And that's rare for me. It was to the point I checked out mentally. I was just like, I'm tired, my brain is spent. And it was a 9 a.m. class, which already is very tough for me. And yeah, I just remember that day just being like, whoop, I'm out. I'm tapping out, guys. No more. And then we went on, and then it got to about workshop 8. There was about 16 workshops, 15 or 16 workshops in stage 1. Got to workshop 8 and I was like, wait a second. Stuff is clicking. Stuff starts falling into place. And I'm like, yes, okay, we're getting it. And then by, I think, workshop either 10 or 11, you move on to leasing, so leasehold properties. And that one for me, I picked up quite quickly. I don't know what the difference was. Maybe it was because I could see the end in sight, so my brain was like, yes. It was like getting that Popeyes bit of spinach, and I was like ready to go and ready to finish. So real estate, I put it on the hot level. And the last one was Introduction to Professional Practice, which I kept forgetting. Like, if you go back and watch all the originals, all the previous videos, I would struggle. So Introduction to Professional Practice was I split it for the purposes of this video into 3 sections. So 3 mini sections, 3 mini ratings for IPP. I would say the writing and research. So we did practical legal research and legal writing. I put them on the lemon and herb side. A big part of it is just good writing skills, not much to it. And luckily for me, I'd worked in a corporate environment for 3 years before I did my LPC, so I had built those professional communication skills, not necessarily in the formats that are prescribed, but I developed my own skills around that, so that was fine. And legal research was the same. I had to do some research. In my previous work, I had to do research tasks. I didn't have to, again, not to the prescribed ULaw template, but I'd done it before. I was familiar with things like practical law, familiar with things with like Westlaw, so it wasn't too much of a shock to my system when they came up again. So I put that lemon and herb, nice and easy, nice easy wins. You don't have to panic too much about those ones, I don't think. And I did okay in my exams. Oh, I haven't been talking about exams. It's fine. It's fine. Next, I put solicitors' accounts. Solicitors' accounts, as you know, we had a moment. We had an interesting time. I'm going to do a little flashback. I had my exam on the 5th. Today is the 23rd. And the reason why it's taken so long for me to do my recap for solicitors' accounts was because, honestly, it was a show. And I won't lie, it was not down to me this time. Yeah, we had a moment with solicitors' accounts. The exam, I will say, the exam was a separate experience. Taking the module for itself, it's not that bad. The reading and the content we did in class was enough for us to get a good grasp on how to do it. It's very mechanical, almost kind of muscle memory. So that's solicitors' accounts. I put solicitors' accounts as a medium because it takes practice. Last and but certainly, wow, not English. Last and certainly not least, we have wills and administration of estates. Out of all of the introduction to professional practice sub-modules, we'll call it, wills was probably the most difficult for me, I think. It was very heavy content, number one. Like, it's not a nice concept. It's not a nice thing to deal with. You're dealing with death in some situations, traumatic. Like, I feel like whoever wrote the exams really went hard with some of the character development. As a solicitor, it becomes something you read it quite dispassionately, which is crazy. It kind of deals with visceral, real situations, which is tough. Like other areas of law, it can be, you have to just kind of lawyer suit on, lawyer mentality on. Empathy's still there, but you have to do what needs to be done with that administration of estates. So it was tough for that reason, but also the calculations. So like the inheritance taxes, distribution of estates, nil rate bans. I'm just throwing out terminology now from that course, but flipping heck, it's a lot. It's a lot of logic. It's a lot of not maths, but timeline work. Like, you're working across timelines. 7 years. Always remember that. 7 years is the number of years. If you do the module, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. I think it was just so much of that I struggled with, and I think that teaching was okay. In my notes, I just wrote, I'm gonna put a screenshot. Wills and estates, woof. Good enough summary. I put it on the spicy. She was spicy. So stage 1 was no walk in the park. You guys were with me throughout, and unfortunately I wasn't that consistent with stage 2 because I was tired. I was done and I was tired. There's a lot of little lessons I learned, and I think that with stage 1, you just need to set the tone for how you intend to go throughout. Putting good disciplines in place. Sometimes, so I started off with a Notion page, very organized, very put together. I had my Trello board, and those things were very good at setting a good structure. Generally, I think that's the biggest piece of advice for stage 1. Start how you intend to go on. Those are some little nuggets to help with stage 1 and a review of stage 1. It is what do you make it. Anyway, this is my outro. I'm finished. I've done an outro. I've done a video, flipping heck. Even doing a video these days is an achievement in and of itself. See you later. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.